Thank you for inviting me to speak to you today. I'm very sorry that I cannot be there with you in person this morning, as I'd hoped to be. I was very pleased to receive the invitation to address today's event. I met with James Loughman, your Chief Executive, shortly after taking on my ministerial role in the Home Office, to hear at first hand about the work of the Association of Convenience Stores. The association is a very active member of the National Retail Crime Steering Group, which I co-chair with the British Retail Consortium. So it is definitely doing a great deal to help ensure that the concerns and interests of the convenience store sector in relation to the crimes you experience are heard and understood at a national level. And speaking as a Member of Parliament who happens to represent a rural constituency, I know firsthand how important convenience retailers are to communities. That is true in both rural and urban areas, of course. You provide an essential service every day to thousands of customers up and down the country. But this does mean that you can find yourself on the front line when it comes to crime, whether this is shoplifting, violence or fraud. These are all serious crimes that have a serious impact on you and the victims. There are issues that are covered in the crime report being launched today. There are also issues that I'm keen to continue working to address with the sector and with the police and others as necessary. These issues are firmly on the agenda of the National Retail Crime Steering Group. The overall picture of crime across England and Wales is a positive one. Crime has fallen by well over a quarter since 2010, according to the Independent Crime Survey for England and Wales. But crime is changing. The internet, new technology offer criminals new opportunities to commit crimes such as fraud and cybercrime, and the profile of crimes reported to the police is changing too. The Modern Crime Prevention Strategy that we published a year ago now sets out our updated approach to crime prevention. It specifically recognises the importance of effective partnership working between the retail sector, the police and government to develop innovative solutions to prevent all forms of retail crime, the very crimes that affect you and your livelihoods. Shop thefts, include shoplifting, present significant challenges for the sector, both in terms of prevalence and costs. This is why we encourage all retailers to report these crimes to the police so that they can be investigated and the offenders brought to justice. Shop theft also includes thefts by members of staff. I know that this is a growing concern, not least because the value of the goods stolen will often be higher than thefts by customers. I know that the ACS has developed guidance to support employers when dealing with staff theft, which is very helpful. And I know that violence and abuse is the biggest concern that convenience retailers report to the ACS. I am very clear that people who deal with the public through the course of their work should be able to do so without fear of threat or abuse. I am passionate about this, and I'm committed to working with the sector and the police through the National Retail Crime Steering Group to identify what more we can do to prevent these crimes. Convenience store staff report that the most common triggers for verbal abuse from customers are when carrying out age-restricted sales through systems such as Challenge 25 scheme, when refusing to serve drunks, or when attempting to prevent shoplifting. I want to spend just a few moments now talking about alcohol. We are all aware that alcohol is associated with some aspects of crime. Almost half of all victims of violent instances believe the offender was under the influence of alcohol, and this is close to 2/3 for violent instances involving strangers. Alcohol is also associated with 1/3 of incidents of domestic violence, and there is also a link between alcohol and antisocial behaviour, with almost 1/5 of adults perceiving drunk or rowdy behaviour as a problem in their area. While the focus for much of the discussions about alcohol and crime is on the nighttime economy, I do recognise that all too often staff who work in the sector can themselves become victims of crime. In the modern prevention strategy, we set out how we will work with partners to prevent alcohol-related crime and disorder. Our approach is based around three key themes. First, improving local intelligence through local agencies, hospitals and business sharing information. Second, establishing effective local partnerships to reduce the burdens placed on the police and accident and emergency departments. And thirdly, we are giving the police and local authorities the power they need so that they can prevent problems and take swift and decisive action after they have occurred. Strong, sustained and effective partnership working is the essential theme running through all of this. I know that responsible retailers recognise that they have a significant part to play in helping to tackle alcohol-related crime, and I'm grateful for the continuing support that the ACS gives to developing responsible initiatives across the country. Before I conclude, I just want to say a few words about a particular type of crime that affects many in the convenience sector, forecourt crime. I know that many convenience retailers are located on garage forecourts. Forecourt crime is where people deliberately fill their vehicles with fuel, knowing that they do not have the means or the intention of paying for it. Often this will manifest itself as a drive-off, simply filling up the car and then driving away without going anywhere near the shop or the cashier. Or it may be a no means to pay case, where the customer fills up the car and then presents themselves to the cashier with no apparent means to pay for the fuel. In some cases, this may be genuine. The customer has genuinely left their purse or wallet at home and can quickly resolve the matter. But in too many instances, the individual fully intends to leave the premises without paying for the fuel they have taken, and indeed never pay for it. The ACS estimates that these crimes cost the sector around 36 million a year, with individual forecourts seeing an average of 3 or 4 of these cases each week. There is no easy, foolproof solution to this, but I was very pleased that the police, the sector and the Home Office came together to identify best practice in the steps that forecourt owners can take to prevent these crimes from happening in the first place. Often quite simple steps, such as improving the training for staff to help them spot and action on suspicious behaviour, and then improving the way that the incidents are recorded and reported to the police using a standard reporting form, which will help to secure a more consistent approach. The Association of Convenience Stores played a major role in this work, and I want to thank them for this today. They led on pulling together this new guidance in a particularly accessible format, working collaboratively with fuel retail partners, the police and the Home Office. This is important work, and I was pleased to support the publication of the guidance on the 20th of February. I hope it will help to reduce significantly the number of these crimes and the consequent financial losses to the industry and retailers. Of course, there is always more to be done, and we shall continue to work with industry and partners, including the ACS, to find new solutions to the range of crimes that affect retailers. So to conclude, thank you once again for the opportunity to talk with you today and for all that you do to provide vital services for the public. The sector has a key part to play in partnership with the police and government, and I look forward to continuing to work with you on this in the future. Thank you.